Welcome back, everyone, to the back nine of the 2023 Nantucket Open. We got one of the best feature cards I could ever put together and one of the best honorees, Nantucket Disc Golf Club, along with Todd Rainwater, helping add $5,000 added cash to this tournament. Filmed by Greatest Media Team. We got Harry Chace, one of the players on this card, as well, doing commentary with us. How you doing, Harry?
Doing good. Great front nine as we saw. Steve Brinster light it up and go 6 under, and excited to be back.
Absolutely, and Casey's going to be heating up in this back nine. Don't you worry. We got Craig Cutler, who is a 994 player, events 202 under his belt, so no stranger to Nantucket as well. He's been traveling here with Scott Howard and friends. And we got yourself, 1010 rated, one of the second highest rated players on this card, representing Discmania, and 14 wins under your belt. And then last but not least, Steve Brinster, a USDGC champion, 111 wins, 404 events, been playing since 1994. How about that stat, Harry?
Absolute legend. Excited to watch him throw for 9 more holes.
Here we go. You got to get around this corner, and then you're going to have a hyzer approach.
Okay, I think that's far enough.
Yeah, I would definitely say this hole is one of the more tricky ones, as I would probably normally go to a forehand here, but just with how tight this is, and I mentioned my struggles with forehands in the rain, so we're going to go to the backhand here, throw a straight shot, and pretty happy with that one.
Steve not too happy with the placement there, but knowing him, he'll work something out. Love this approach by Craig there, and this hole is averaging 4.41, so definitely one of the toughest holes of the day, and one of the toughest that you'll face on the back here, starting a pretty tough stretch. Here we got Steve looking to get around the corner. He's going to have to hyzer out. I don't know if he's going to play aggressive here, but it looks like he is opting to just sort of get up there and be happy with a birdie look, maybe par.
Wow, that was a super technical shot out of a standstill right there. Patent pending as well. That's why Steve is one of the best.
And you're just getting clipped at the top there, unfortunately. You were just trying to look for a hyzer in there. What did you throw there?
Back to the MD5, throwing that thing a lot.
You must like that disc.
One of my favorites for sure.
Go in.
This looks pretty by Casey. Oof. And we got Craig also pulling a hyzer. Looks like he's going for a mid-range, a little slower approach and getting all the way up there. Textbook shot. 2 textbook shots by Craig Cutler there.
And this is not a textbook shot. Left that one really short, probably only 90 feet away. Just thought I could just jump putt it up there, but didn't think about it too much. It's a little slippage from the rain, and gonna have a tester for par.
Not what you want in the rain. Any testers. Try to put under the basket. Here's Craig for his birdie approach. Oh, what a great putt there. Feeling dialed
Craig.
in. Yeah, love
A
that.
little more loft on that putt, more extension. You can kind of see him just pop it from his lower body here.
Sweet replay and pop, like you said. Well done there, Craig. And here's Casey trying to sneak a putt through. Look at that.
Wow, I didn't even realize while we were playing how much Annie and how much straddle he had to do on that. That was a great putt.
Yeah, very impressive. And Casey's feeling good. He's heating up, folks. And here you are for your, I believe that was for par, right?
Yep, that was for par. Just didn't want to miss low, and that was a thought in my head. Just gave it too much want. And I don't care what you say. Hitting band like that and just echoing through the woods, worst sound in disc golf.
It's not the best sound, that's for sure. And hole 11, although the peaceful sounds of Nantucket take a lot of those sounds too. So here we got hole 11, 620 feet, par 4. Casey's opting to do a forehand. I think he went a little too left there. You really want to get around this corner, which is not easy to do, but I think the forehand is the preferred shot. As you can see here, Craig's really feeling his destroyers, his Steven Brinster destroyers, and he's in a great spot.
And this was interesting. Steve goes and tells Casey to go up and spot as he tries to maybe get height on this. I'm not really sure what he was thinking. Steve is normally a pretty conservative player, especially early, and with him 6 under through 10 is
wow.
Yeah, that was I needed
kick
that.
of the year.
I needed that after a few bogeys on the last few holes.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, yeah, Steve, he maybe something he has done in the past here. I know he's been coming here for a while, but definitely will probably regret doing that aggressive play, and I doubt we'll be seeing him do that in round 2.
Well, I mean, this hole averaged 4.38, very similar to hole 10, and I find this way more difficult than the previous hole because of this middle section here. But yeah, you can see Craig, one of the best shots off the tee. He didn't go super aggressive or anything. He barely has a look here.
Unfortunately, just a lot of rotations hitting the tree like that. It's going to roll him off into the rough. But yeah, I was able to take advantage of my fortunate bounce off the tree. Had a pretty open line, and hopefully we'll bounce back with a birdie.
Casey's going to settle for par there. Awesome look of Craig Cutler here. Let's see if he can throw one in here. Oh, what a bid. And then Steve's looking for his par save here. Good hit. And you're looking for birdie? No.
Yeah, sneaky little bird right there.
Okay, you did get up there. Great birdie, Harry. Well done. What's your favorite hole in Nantucket?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I mean, the funny thing about this course is a lot of the holes just seem to blend together in kind of a perfect way. It's not really a bad thing. It's just so many of them are similar in nature. But I would have to say hole 5 is probably my favorite. A lot of scoring separation there, but fair.
Yeah.
You can play for eagle, but a par is super in play, and I really like the way that hole shapes.
And this one is the most difficult, second most difficult of the day. I would say a lot of people really don't like this hole because it's just so kind of funky. It's just a really straight shot, but also is very tight off the tee. As you can see a lot of the players are struggling here off the tee.
Yeah, it kind of looks like on camera you can just throw a straight shot. I think the preferred play is a bit more of a flex, just because these branches do kind of come in and prevent you from just throwing maybe just a hyzer stand up. But yeah, this is certainly technical, and the rain is going to make this hole more than others kind of difficult. As we've seen on Nantucket, most of the holes kind of allow you to get off the tee kind of with ease, and this one is certainly more of a challenge.
Yeah, for 441 feet, it's definitely one of the most challenging. And I mean, you're just reserved to doing some strange things on this hole that you're not used to doing. Are you going to be able to sneak up there? Looks like you might have a par save look, but yeah, it's just tough playing on that one. And here's Steve with the signature roller.
Wow, would have loved to see where that one ended up, but unfortunately it was right at that tree. And this is a tricky little approach right here. We'll see Steve now going to the Toro. Something kind of new in his game. And oh man, maybe not quite too comfortable with that in the rain right now. That is an approach he'd like to have back.
Absolutely. And opting for a bogey, and you can see that he's not too happy. He's going to be settling down to 5 down instead of 6 down, which is tied with you. Casey also taking a bogey there. And here is your par save, giving it a good bid there. Just a little off. I'm sure you didn't want to fully commit too much, right?
I mean, yeah, it was a far putt. I certainly committed as much as I could have. But yeah, I mean, even in the rain here, it'll be my 3rd bogey in the last 5 holes or so. So that's not good for my scorecard. I still will be at 4 under, but yeah, certainly missed a few too many opportunities there to shoot a really good round.
And it's a harder stretch, though. Like we talked about the Turkey Alley. I would say this is bogey alley, not for you in general, and just in terms of all the players, 10, 11, 12, almost everything averaging 0.3 or harder. So, I mean, this is where you kind of have to just take par or take your medicine if you can on some of these holes. And then I think on hole 13, this starts to getting a little easier through the final stretch here.
Through an initial gap here, you want to flip it up and get it to ride mostly straight with a little bit of left at the end. Casey went with a DD1, and I think there was a sneaky little headwind that pushed his disc up and turned it to the right as Craig is getting that same wavelength from the wind, but fought through.
And what are you throwing here?
That's my Grady Shoe PD. Was trying to follow from what their mistakes were and thought it would flip up a little bit more, but just didn't have the speed on that to flip it up all the way. And Steve with probably the best looking shot, unable to miss that last tree, but we're all going to have looks to approach to the basket.
Yeah, unfortunately the umbrella got in the way there, but you got up there, probably circle 2 from what I remember. And then circle 2 for Steve as well. And here is Casey with the Anheuser approach, and I believe he gets within circle 1.
Wow, that was a really well done approach there from Casey. Able to put the Anheuser on it and get it to fight way right, but also flippy enough to kind of just fall out the sky but still land flat. Really technical from him.
Absolutely, and here we got to have a replay on this one. This is Craig Cutler with his another destroyer. And almost getting the wishbone flare skip throw in. Oh, man. That would have been cool. So this wishbone's in your way. Are you thinking about it?
No, I just kind of wanted to lay this one up close as I could. And I actually, once again, kind of slipped out of my hand low. Hopefully this one won't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you are feeling cold or just drenched? What's the best way to describe what you're feeling at the moment?
Cold, drenched, tired, everything into one. I mean, it's raining as hard as it is now as it was on hole 1, and it's just been nonstop. We're all going through it. We're all trying to feel it. I went with the no raincoat approach. Maybe different next year.
Yeah, it's not easy to play in the rain like this. I mean, this is still round 1, folks. I mean, you still have a whole nother round to play, and I understand and respectfully understand why some players decided not to play the second round. Totally understand. And here are some of your tap outs, a couple pars, no harm, no foul there. You're at 4, Craig's at 1, Casey's at 3. So this is hole 14. This is going back to a couple par 3s in a row now. We have a nice hyzer, but it's very tight. To get this through, it's very strange shot to get this through. And you can see Casey's actually opting to throw something very fast just to get up there. I believe that's a Skywalker, maybe FD3, but either way, I know he chose his driver. And here's Craig Cutler trying to hyzer around. What are you throwing here?
Back to the MD5, and I guess not really agreeing with the rain today, but this one gets all the way through. Not sure how close I'll be, but certainly better than it could have been.
And this average is the second easiest hole, but it sure isn't showing like it.
Yeah, just not a lot of trouble on this one. I mean, we see Steve pretty much hits what you might call first available, and he's still got a relatively routine upshot here. This is definitely an interesting little hole, one that I think mixes in well in between these par fours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love what John Huff does there, and averaging 2.79, you get such a good feeling and mix of par fives mixed with par threes and then par fives again. I mean, it just keeps you on your toes. And here's keeping you on your toes, Casey with the absolute dagger birdie look. Nice putt there.
Wow, yeah, great putt, great catch there. Able to just sneak it right over, steal birdie away on the 14th.
I mean, this is a circle 2, I would say 35.
Absolutely outside the circle.
Yeah. Nice putt there. And the mustache, who knows? It might be chopped off after November. Hard to get over that rim there, especially that leaflets there look like.
Yeah, this was the part of the round where I was just definitely, I mean, still trying to keep my head in it, obviously, but I was so wet, so cold, and I mean, I really thought out of my hand. I committed to it, and there was just nothing behind it. So hopefully going to use a little bit more power going forward on the putts.
542 feet, hole 15, averaging 4.18. I personally like this hole a lot. I think it sets up nicely for people with forehands, or you can choose this right side hyzer flip up play. It gives you variety, and you kind of have to make sure you land deep rather than short, because that's the only way you're going to birdie it.
Yep, dual fairways, another signature concept of John Houck. I think this right one is certainly more cleaned up in the current landscape. I would like to see maybe the left get a little bit more cleaned up so it can reward kind of a power shot. As we see all of our backhand players choosing to just throw the straight shot.
Have you played with Steve during the Warwick Championships? You must have, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah. This year I played with Steve, I think 3 of the 4 rounds, and maybe even the same for last year. I know he's been on lead card both times.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, Steve will always find a way to get in the mix at Warwick. Probably till he's 60 years old.
Well, I like to see you guys challenging, not only at Warwick, but also at Nantucket. What a great shot there. What was that?
Back to that red FT3, was able to keep it dry enough. And, I mean, yeah, this was a really big performance from at least my forehand. Normally I kind of avoid it at all costs in the rain, and was able to somehow keep my hand dry enough, even though the rest of my body was pretty soaked, and was able to execute some really good forehands.
Yeah, almost every single forehand I've seen has been perfect out of your hands there. And here is Craig for his birdie. Great job there. A little chit chat with Casey. Must be fun being on Team Discmania together, representing.
Yeah, what's also fun for Casey is the chit chat. If you've ever played with him, maybe his favorite thing to do, and it's fun to chit chat back with him.
All right, moving on to one of the more open holes, 565 feet, par 4, hole 16. Let them rip. That's how I feel about this one. Pretty good rip by Casey there with his DD3. I would say the most trouble that you're going to have is if you're just to the left or right of the fairway. You really can't scramble. It's almost impossible. And a great pull by Craig there with his destroyer right in the middle. And what are you ripping on here?
This is a C-Line PD2, and a little bit of headwind here, and I'm just trying to just penetrate it. A little bit of slip out of the hand, and not my best shot here.
This hole always has sneaky headwind. I don't know what it is. And there's Steve with a great looking, maybe a little too left. We'll see if he's pinched off or not. But like we said, if you're pinched off, it could present some trouble here. And now the wind and rain seem to really pick up. I don't know what it was, but being in the open really made you feel all of it. Awesome hyzer approach by Craig Cutler here. Again, relying on the skip. Oh, it just goes a little too straight there.
Yeah, I think I mentioned a few holes ago how the rain is the same as it was on hole 1. It is noticeably heavier for 16, 17, and 18 for us, so it is a struggle to stay dry. As you see, I actually replaced my umbrella. My other umbrella broke, and luckily I was able to scoop Todd's for the last few holes, but
oh man,
not super ideal. Yeah.
And Casey getting a errant shot out there for his second shot, and he's gonna have some work to do to even say par.
Yeah, all of our approaches, as we see Steve there, were pretty poor, and the rain had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and that was Casey pitching out his, and here you are for your third shot, your birdie look, just laying up to the basket for par. And here's the birdie look by Craig. I mean, you could see the puddle on the right-hand side there. It is moving. Just tough conditions. I don't know how you guys did it and still played very well. I mean, -6, -5. These are 10-20 rounds. Great putt by you there. And we're going to move on to hole 17. Hole 16, that averaged 4.18. So very tough holes for you guys in a row on the back 9 here. One of the more relief holes is hole 17. As you can see, Casey takes his hyzer here and gets into circle 1. 303 feet, very similar to hole 2.
Yeah, this is one that you definitely need to utilize. The skips out here on Nantucket. The fairway is down below, super low ceiling branches, and I'm just trying to just throw this into the ground, basically.
I feel like the wind picked it up for you. That was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, the rain is just so crazy here. I really just wanted to avoid hitting first available. I know I got a pretty good round going. Just get up there, take a par. I mean, it is coming down right now on us.
Mm-hmm. And your last few holes, and even through lunch, it was like this. I mean, one of our cameras didn't even make it, but we found a way to get a remote control in there on the camera, so we were able to salvage it. And yeah, just take your pars, be smart. And here's Casey with the 2 look here. You don't suck, Casey. You're playing in miserable rain, and only about 75 miles from Nantucket, New York City recorded the wettest day on record. They had over 8 inches of rain, so this was the same system that was going through the New England coastline. And tapping out a couple pars. Moving on to hole 18.
All right, hole 18. Finishing hole here, another par 5. So look at the scoreboard. We got Casey at 6, Steve at 6, myself at 5. If all of us can just kind of finish this hole, we'll be seeing us on lead card again for round number 2.
This averaged the hardest hole of the day, so a very daunting finishing hole. 5.69, and it plays all of 900 feet. Perfect pull by Steve Brinster there, right in the middle and getting around that last tree on the left there, so he's going to have a good look for a second shot. Here's his best friend, Craig Cutler, following suit, throwing his disc. Great shot there. And Casey White, another standstill turnover. I've seen a couple of these. I like it. I think he's opting to do that instead of his forehand. I think that's what's happening there.
A good change for him, as he has performed really well on this back nine and caught up to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks like you slipped there. Am I right?
Yeah, this was a regrettable play for myself right here. Going to the roller, I was pinched off. It was so wet I couldn't forehand a disc. That was kind of out of the picture. And I was afraid of throwing a turnover too high. So I went with the roller, but slipped and went into the rough. And that's going to cost me.
And you found yourself in the rough, and that's going to be your third shot. And you still have a lot of ways to go here. And Casey's got his third shot up, leaving a little short. So he's going to be settling for par, birdie at best. You're just trying to hyzer out up there. And
yeah, I should have been able to get about 300 feet on that one, and unfortunately just didn't get anything. So I have to go to the forehand here, but it's just so wet, and this is like pain reliving this hole for me.
Apologies. And yeah, a little bit of ping pong on this one for you, but hey, it shows the teeth of Nantucket. Sometimes it can be one or two holes that get you, and this one was it for you, it looked like.
Yeah, I looked at the scorecard before the hole. I knew if I parred, I could get onto lead card for round 2, and that was kind of my goal. And even with a perfect tee shot, this is now a putt for 6.
And not in an easy position, yeah.
Upside down putter.
Oh my gosh.
The one part of the circle you can't be in, and
struggle cities. And it's not just you. Steve Brinster is also having a little trouble on this green here. Wow, he's looking for his third putt here. Okay. Yeah, so he takes it. I think he gets a double both. You move down to 3. And then Casey moves down to 5. Craig Cutler takes a par. It's not an easy hole, but it shows how awesome Nantucket in terms of what John Huck designed, and we're very happy that you were able to join us. As you can see, Casey White is leading the pack at -6, and then Paul Kranz -5, Steve Brinster -4, Kyle Moriarty -4. So that is your lead card, and you're right there in the mix, tied for 5th. Shout out with that eagle. Great round for you, beside maybe one blemish, really. How do you feel about it?
Felt pretty good. Like you mentioned, I did take a few bogeys, and that last one at the end definitely hurt. It's all right, still on Chace card, and excited to see some of Massachusetts' finest with Wads and Paul Kranz joining the lead card for round 2. It's going to be a really close battle at the end, and looking forward to crowning a champion at the 2023 Nantucket Open.
Absolutely, and it was a pleasure watching you and some of these great legends of the game on this feature card. Thanks for joining us, everyone.